Hello and welcome back to Planet Football. Today we'll be doing the football tactics show for Villarreal v Bayern Munich, and now Villarreal were able to beat Bayern Munich and advance to the semi-finals of the Champions League. What's your thoughts on the game?
Didn't really watch it to be honest, but fair play to Villarreal for containing obviously their attackers because I heard Lewandowski had a really poor game and there was like good balls coming in for him, good service, but he just couldn't capitalise. So yeah, so fair play to Villarreal, and I think the first thing to talk about is Unai Emery and the job he's doing there. I think uh, we were when we were off the stream. Obviously, we were talking about how he's underrated and stuff. So I think Unai Emery definitely deserves more credit to his name because obviously they are. He won them the Europa League last year, and coming from the Europa League to the Champions League is still a step up. So to take them to the semi-final, that is an achievement. So, and I don't think it's going to be an easy game for Liverpool in the semi-final. So, what do you think? Where do you think the main danger is for Liverpool for the semi-final game?
I think honestly, the what's going to be hardest for Liverpool in that game is a player like Danjuma. Dan
Yeah,
Juma played fantastic against Bayern Munich. They've got impact players like what is it? Chukwueze? Is that how you pronounce it?
yeah, Chukwueze, I think it is. Well,
Chukwueze, yeah. They've got impact players like that as well who can come on and make a real impact. You're looking at that midfield there. Danny Pereiro, a fantastic player. Uh,
mm,
they've got a defence with Paul Torres, who's play like teams like Man United and Manchester City were after him. So it just shows how much of a quality player he is. And like you were saying, Unai Emery, the job he's doing is fantastic. He's got players like Dan Juma in from Bournemouth, and he's turned them into, like, let's be honest, like superstars. Really, I mean,
yeah.
Dan Juma's linked with a lot of top teams now in Europe. So Unai Emery's done a fantastic job, definitely. And
When you look at
yeah,
that Villarreal team, it's full of players that have played in the Premier League and it's not quite worked out for them. So, how do you think he like brings all of that together then?
I think he's just. I think the players really just buy into his system a lot. Like that.
Yeah,
That's a lot. That's what it takes to be a very successful coach. If your players are buying into what you're doing, and you've got players who are actually interested in playing for you, the top players, then you're doing something right. So for me, Unai Emery's doing a brilliant job, and I
mm,
wouldn't even be surprised if you could get a draw out of the Liverpool game, to be honest. And then
yeah,
I do think Liverpool will not Villarreal, but I do think that it's going to be a very, very tough game because we have seen
yeah,
him knock out Bayern Munich in the last round, Juventus, a good team as well. So, it's going to be a very, very tough game for sure. And I do think also uh, going into the first leg, it was a very, very end-to-end game. Dan Juma scored a great goal. Absolutely amazing passing from Villarreal. And then obviously, uh, Dan Juma just slightly onside, and he just hits it first time. It's an amazing goal for Villarreal. Then they scored a second in the first half as well, and Coquelin was offside by like his arm, and it was very very close. So like an amazing goal as well if you haven't seen it. Like he looked like he was going to cross the ball in, and then it went in. Like it was unbelievable. Like it just confused Neuer completely. It was on the to describe it. It was basically like Trent Alexander-Arnold's goal against Burnley a few years ago,
ah,
where he looked like
fair
he was
enough.
crossing it, and it was like it was a goal. It was unbelievable.
Fair enough. Well,
So yeah, that's how I would describe it, like the goal. But yeah, Villarreal and Bayern, Villarreal played fantastic. The support at Villarreal looked absolutely incredible as well. Like you could see that the fans were just like so excited and like like just looking at like how the fans were and how the team was. You could tell that they were just was like the atmosphere was amazing. Like, and what you've got to take into account here is that Villarreal play in a place that's like there's only 50,000 people in that place. Like half of the like actual population of Villarreal would have been in that stadium. So that it's just mental.
Yeah. Going on to Bayern, then you've obviously there's been a lot of speculation regarding Lewandowski's future in the last couple of weeks because it looks like Barcelona are opening talks with him and his agent. So, do you think his head is probably elsewhere, and that's why he had a poor game, or is it just one of them where it's just a one-off poor performance?
I think it's a mix of both because obviously Lewandowski obviously scored in the second round, well the second leg. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's I think his head obviously is going to be elsewhere with Barcelona being in good talks with signing for him. Most players would be, but for me, I don't understand why he would go to Barcelona at the minute. I understand what Xavi is doing; he's building a great foundation at Barca, but you know that the system that you're gonna play at Bayern, you know that it's definitely gonna work. It's gonna be pretty much geared around you because you're the main player. So for me, I wouldn't go to Barcelona. I would stay at Bayern and I'd win another Champions League with Bayern Munich personally, because Barcelona is still in a real rebuilding phase. Don't
I
get me wrong,
agree.
they've been massively improved with Xavi, but they're still in a rebuilding phase where they're trying to now fight for trophies. Obviously, they've still got a long way to go, as shown by them losing to Frankfurt in the Europa League. So they've still got a long way to go, Barcelona. But they're definitely on the right path for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that, to be honest. And did you watch the game? So
Oh yeah. I watched the games for Villarreal. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I honestly thought it was two really good games of football. You know, I was thinking as soon as Bayern scored, they were creating loads and loads of chances. I was thinking, yeah, Bayern are going to win this. And then
yeah.
Villarreal just hung on and hung on. They eventually got that goal late on, and it was unbelievable. Like the players and Unai Emery were just going mental. It was unbelievable. Like, and then
Well,
you just saw Bayern and the fans just looked absolutely pissed off. And I mean, it was a bit of a bottle job from Bayern, considering that for me at least they dominated the game that second leg. But in the first leg they were creating chances, but they weren't good Bayern at all. They didn't look like Bayern. Like they just looked like a shadow of themselves in that game. Like they couldn't
mm,
score. Just nothing was going right for them. Second leg, they were in front of the fans. They were playing much better, and they had loads and loads of chances, and they just couldn't like win. And Villarreal took advantage of it, and yeah, they held on all game after Lewandowski scored, and yeah, they won the game. And I think they're going to be a very tough team for anyone playing them. You've seen it in the league table at La Liga. They're definitely good enough to be in the top four position for sure in La Liga. I mean, we know how good they are as a squad, but they've put all their eggs in the basket for the Champions League. And so far it's looking like it's a good idea because of how good they're playing at the minute. So it's going to be a very interesting game for sure against Liverpool, and it's one I'm looking forward to.
mm. So going on to the final question, then, who's winning the Champions League?
Oh, I'm still going to back Liverpool. I think Liverpool's still going to win it. I really do. I think
I think it's
you know.
easier. I
Sorry,
think
what was you going to say?
I've said from the beginning of the season, I've said Real Madrid or City. I
I
actually,
don't think it'll be City. I really don't. I think I think it I think it will be a Liverpool v City final. But I think Liverpool will win it. I really do. I think the
mm,
momentum Liverpool are in, it's massive. So I just think Liverpool have the edge for me, and especially in Europe. Pep Guardiola is due to overthink a game, and I do think that he'll probably overthink it a bit again, and Liverpool will win it.
Yeah. I'm going with Real Madrid because I just think the job Ancelotti's done there so far this season, and Karim Benzema, and I just think that they're just too like Benzema. He's just too much to handle. So
Would
I
that
think
not
it's
just
going to
piss
be.
you off more though if Real Madrid won the Champions League when he just managed Everton and then he just goes for Everton to win in the Champions League?
I mean, to be fair, he done an interview like last week, and he said he actually was planning to stay at Everton, but Real Madrid was that only club that he couldn't reject. So I kind of forgive him for that because you look at the job that obviously the state we're in now, and you look at the job that he did. He actually did a really good job thinking about it.
Yeah, you got to think as well with that board at Everton. It's shocking, absolutely
Yeah,
shocking. The board. So if for him to be working with that board and still like he got a win against Liverpool last season.
yeah,
He got a lot of good results for Everton. So he did a good job when you look at it now compared like
yeah,
from then to now. Like how worse Everton are off. And for me, when I'm looking at Everton's like current position right now, I think the blame has to come to two things. I think the board has to take blame. They've spent money like crazy on players that should be worth nowhere near that. And for me, Rafa has to take the blame for this season
yeah,
too because
definitely.
he pushed players like Luca Dean out the door, James Rodriguez out the door. The players don't look like they have any confidence playing. So for me, Rafa has to take the blame for a bit of this season, and what's it called? The board have to take the blame for this season too, and previous seasons as well, because they've invested a lot of money. I'll give them credit for it, but they've spent it on shit. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
they've spent what 35 mil on Iwobi, uh, you know,
Mm,
it's shit like that they've spent money on that a massive overpay. Like Arsenal are
yeah.
probably still laughing how much they ripped them off. Like so, for me, the board has to take a lot of blame for Everton's position currently.
Yeah, I would agree. But I think
But yeah, moving
under
on to
Lampard, if we
Villarreal.
stay up,
Oh, sorry.
I wait. What were you saying?
I was gonna go back onto Villarreal, but
Okay.
sorry. No, it's okay. You can carry on
No,
about
it's not.
Everton.
It's not. I was
Oh,
just
right,
saying
okay.
that
Well, yeah.
under
All right.
Lampard, I think if we stay up, I think we can rebuild. If we stay up,
I do think is a good manager. I think
yeah,
he's actually underrated. I think Everton's position doesn't fully justify what Lampard has done because Lampard
exactly.
has been put in a situation that is very, very tough. When you're like competing against the richest club in the world in Newcastle, who are spending money left, right, and centre, and you can only you have to sell your best left back, and you're bringing in players who are project players who are good for the future, but aren't going to be like sensational at the minute. They're not going to be like top 10 in the world at their position at this minute. Whereas Luca Dean is a quality left back. Whereas you're bringing in players who are going to be projects, and then Donny van der Beek. I mean that was a great signing in January. It looked like it was going to be amazing. It's Dali Ali thought that was going to be a solid signing, but it just hasn't worked out at the minute. But
Yeah,
I'm sure Dali Ali will eventually come to a bit of form. I think
I'd
I
agree.
think once Everton can get out of this mess, and I think with Burnley sacking Sean Dyche as well, I think Everton should definitely stay up now. Like
Yeah,
for me, I think Everton, they just look for next season now. They just make sure they completely avoid the drop and then just focus on next season. Then,
yeah, definitely.
but
But
yeah,
what were
like
you going?
but what I was gonna say is, back onto Bayern v Villarreal. Like Bayern just look like a shadow of themselves. The whole the whole 2 games. In the like I say, in the second leg, they looked a lot better than what they were in the first leg. They were terrible in the first leg. They were creating chances, but they just couldn't finish them at all. And they just looked, like I say, they just looked like a shadow themselves. And for me, Villarreal, it was a defensive masterclass, really. For them to hold out Bayern to 1 goal with all that firepower that they've got going forward, I think it was incredible. Defensive masterclass from Unai Emery as well, so he deserves a lot of credit for that too. Holding Bayern to 1 goal when they've got one of the best strikers in the world, like Gnabry and Gnabry, fantastic player. They've got Muller going forward, a fantastic player. They've got a lot of good players Bayern. So for them to hold them to 1 goal, it's an incredible job.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it there. Let us know what you think of Villarreal's performance in the comments, and yeah, we'll see you next time. See you. Bye.